So I am live on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all at the same time. So we'll see how this goes because I am on my phone on TikTok and everywhere else. I'm on the computer. And I had a couple questions come in, a few different emails on different issues that people were asking me about health wise, like where do we need to look, what should we be looking at, and two of the people that sent me in questions prior to this live today are biomagnetism practitioners, but they were asking, like, where do we look? I've been doing this for 25 years, so like I know typically what underlying causes we need to look at. So I thought, all right, I'm going to try and stream from all 4 platforms. So if you are on TikTok and you are listening, let me know that you can actually hear me. If you are watching me over on the other platforms, put it in the comments so that I can actually see who's here. Because I'm looking for 3 particular individuals that sent me messages and making sure they are here before I jump in. And you guys who are watching are more than welcome to jump into the discussion. You can hear me? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Andy, for responding. I appreciate that. Lots of love. I want to make sure that I do cover other things too. Like normally I've been doing health sessions, like health questions type of stuff in my Hidden Wisdom group. But because there was only 3 areas they wanted to cover, I'm like, it's not enough to do a full session, but we can bring in other people too if they have questions. And I needed to do a live stream too. Thank you, Angelica. How are you, friend? So I thought I'm just going to do this on a live and knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Ashley's over on YouTube. Hey, Ash, what's up? So far, so good, right? Oh, go like Vegas. Thanks for reminding me. I need to do that. I've been super busy. So I guess I can go. I just got to remember to do it. Lots of stuff going on. Literally, how you guys feeling today? Before we get moving, how are you feeling? I don't know if y'all saw the video I put up. Like, today's been an insane day. Today has been to the wall, a little crazy. This whole week is just, it's been building and we're in a funny energy right now. So it's pretty interesting today. I'm like, my patience and tolerance level is running on a wire. I had so much coming at me today between clients and content and all kinds of stuff. It's been crazy. Little tired. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Go Live. I will look at it either tonight or tomorrow morning. I promise I won't forget. I'll write myself a message. All right, so you guys ready? Who's here? I am specifically looking for 3 people, and I have not seen their comments come through to know that they are here because I'm going to answer their questions, but I need them here. Like, we got 1 person from Hidden Wisdom that is showing up in the comments in YouTube, and I'm scrolling through my comments here on TikTok to see if I missed anybody. Thankfully, like when I go live on my streaming stuff, Group 7, I'm part of Group 7. Are you part of Group 7? On my streaming software, I can see all the comments in one place. It makes it a little inconvenient with the TikTok thing, but that's okay. You are. I love it. Hey, Donna, what's up? So for those of you that are like, don't like TikTok live, you want the full screen, you are welcome to join me over on at Bernadette Gold 1, the number 1 on the tube. I'm over on YouTube right now too. I'm broadcasting Facebook, YouTube, and here. But I'm on Facebook, both on my business page and my personal page. So we got all the platforms covered. One of the people is here on. So I guess I will address your questions first. You're in Group 7 too. I don't know what that means. So Group 7, let's cover that. And Bobby, if you could let your sisters know that I'm on so that we can cover all of it. The whole group 7 thing came about from a couple different posts that went viral. And the first groups that the girl was mentioning were like, you're basically tuned out and selfish, right? But if you're in group 7, you're basically awake. You care about what's going on. You are aware of the fact that there's deeper stuff moving and you're awakening. That is what the group 7 stuff is about. So for those of you who've seen all these posts coming through about, are you in group 7? That would be what that's about. And most of you that follow me, I think, are definitely group 7, right? We're awake. We're aware. We're not happy with everything going on. She released a new song with that video. Nice. I haven't seen that. So yeah, if you guys look up, do you know the artist name, Donna? So they can look it up. It is good marketing. Yeah, it's brilliant marketing. And I mean, I've seen nothing but posts about I'm in group 7. Someone explain it to me. The original post was pretty cute and it took off like wildfire. And literally, I think a lot of people are resonating to it because we're all like tired of it. And I did a whole video today. It was kind of rant style, but truth style too, about emotional dysregulation and how it's basically the way they want us, right? It's why TikTok is fun. Yeah, for sure. All right. So, whoever's on YouTube and Facebook, can you please check in the comments? Because I need to know that everybody that needs to be here is here and accounted for. We'll go over, and I'm not going to mention the names of anybody that sent these in, but I'm going to address the issues and the questions. So here's the first message I received. My daughter's been falling. And keep in mind, for those of you who haven't watched me before, thanks, Ash. I am a master life coach, but I also do biomagnetism therapy and life therapy and health coaching. Hey, Brenda. Yay. Okay, we got 2 of you. So Sophia James is the group 7 artist. So there you guys go. Go look up Sophia James if you want to hear the song and maybe find the original video. So anyways, I also, in my Hidden Wisdom group, like I said, we do health classes, like where I really break down in detail what are the core drivers of some of the most common chronic illnesses, things that you can do, things that you can look at. And it's literally, that's something new we started in Hidden Wisdom because so many people are dealing with chronic illness and coming back into work after being sick for so many months with cancer. A big part of my practice and my focus right now has been on helping people with chronic health issues. So, and then educating other practitioners who maybe haven't been into natural practitioner stuff and holistic healing as long as I have. Hi, Muse. Welcome, welcome. All right. So the first one I'm going to address, here's I'll set it up just by reading the questions. I'm not going to tell you guys who sent this in. So my daughter's been falling. Sometimes when walking or running, she falls. One day she fell down the stairs. Oh my gosh. Did some magnets and it helped. Did some balance with brain and cerebellum. That helped, thinking it might have something to do with electronics. You're not wrong. And then there was a question about premenopause, light periods, mood swings, hot flashes, fatigue, and then sex drive and a loss of sensation in a different part of the body. So let's go through it. We'll go one by one. So part of, I think, what you could look at, since you are a biomagnetism practitioner, with your daughter who's falling and losing balance while walking or running, that can happen due to, and here's the thing that a lot of people never think about, inner ear issues. So like inner ear infections, right? Even if say you've addressed it, maybe she had ear infections, maybe she has chronic ear infections, you can put it in the comments and let me know if that's something that you're aware of. But the first thing I do is look. Now, if there's pathogens trapped within the inner ear, it can cause some sort of like clumsiness where, you're running and all of a sudden you lose the ability to not fall over. With kids, it can affect equilibrium. So we always got to check inner ear, always. But some of the pathogens that I would definitely look at, if that's part of what's coming through, I would look at strep, candida, mycoplasmas. And for those of you who have not watched my full breakdown, I've done 2 full video presentations on my tube channel on the YouTube about the hidden drivers of disease. And I've actually listed some of the common things that are associated with different chronic issues. And if you guys want more of a breakdown, then come into Hidden Wisdom. It's $40 a month, and all of our health classes and stuff are on replay. And I get down and dirty about here's what you need to look for, and then how do you address those issues in a natural way. The other thing that I would consider too would be heavy metals. They can interfere with neural signaling in the brain and can cause clumsiness or erratic movements. So check for heavy metals. If there is heavy metals present, and everybody in the US has heavy metals, y'all, it's in the food, it's in the water, it's in the ground, it's everywhere. And then if you've had vaccines, the other thing that you can do for that is like chlorella, stuff like that, binders, cilantro juice, but it takes a lot of cilantro to pull that stuff out. If you eat a lot of cilantro, which we do, it will help get that stuff out of your body. So that's something. Now, when it comes to EMF, we never think about EMF disrupting our natural biofield, our natural biomagnetic field, and we all have one. I mean, science proves it. This is science, right? So we have to look at how much time is the child spending on tablets, on phones, and Bluetooth, and within the Wi-Fi signal that we all have running in our house if you have internet. Those are things you definitely need to look at. The other thing that I would say to this person who sent this to me, because she is an advanced biomagnetism practitioner, is look at the TBI placements, traumatic brain injury placements. Even if you haven't had a traumatic brain injury, the wonderful thing about biomagnetism therapy is we can scan for and see if there's an imbalance within the brain. And if there is, address it and balance the signaling back out. So hopefully that answers that part of it. If not, or if it brought up more questions, please put them in the comments so that I can see them to the person who sent me this. All right. And grounding. I keep hearing that word, grounding. Like a lot of us get kind of off base because we're not grounded. So grounding super important. Barefoot in the dirt, especially for kids. It's always very helpful. Now, the premenopausal questions and the loss of sensation. First of all, because I know this person, I've worked with her and I've spoken with her. I know you had a baby, which means hormones. EBV is something that I would definitely address, but I'd also be looking at, is there any kind of strep or staph present in the body? So scan for that and then work on that. As far as numbness is concerned, it's not uncommon after you've had a child to have flares because of EBV. Hormones and literally EBV goes after the thyroid. Thyroid, most people don't realize, does have an effect on the menstrual cycle. So if your hormones are off, which usually after we have a child, our hormones are all over the place. And And if there's low desire, there's low energy, just all the way around, you've got to look at like estrogen, progesterone. You've also got to look at, thank you, Dragon Mage. You also have to look at your TS or T3, T4, not TSH. They test for TSH for thyroid, but the true tell is T3, T4, and usually free T3, free T4, or total T3 and T4, not just TSH. TSH actually measures pituitary. Most people don't know that. Like, I don't know how many doctors I had to argue with to get my daughter even tested for the thyroid antibody, which she had, and she has horrible, horrible Hashimoto's. We also know that she has had, since she was born, EBV. So if she would only let me treat her with magnets, it would be great. However, she never has any time. So there's that. But to the one who sent me this list of questions, your hormones are probably out of whack. Your adrenals are probably exhausted. You've got to check for liver stagnation and work on the liver, right? I've tried to help you guys with supplements all the way around, especially in Hidden Wisdom and in Charm Life. Like we've talked about, the one that I'm taking for lymphatic drainage and for help with the liver, called by Life Extensions, called Youthful Legs. Even though it's called Youthful Legs, the diasmin in it helps your lymphatics drain. So if any of you guys have issues with digestion, liver issue, look at Youthful Legs by Life Extensions. It's for vascular health. However, it is a very good way to get your lymphs to detox. So yeah, not just like, I know I keep seeing on TikTok and around the web, like the little tinctures. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, but those are mild. They're very mild, and it takes a while to build up in your system enough to get your lymphs to actually cycle and clear. I can tell you, once I started taking that stuff, it helped tremendously. But if I had just had a baby not long ago, I definitely would be looking up, okay, what are the pathogens? Because numbness in an area usually means there's some sort of undetected pathogen going on, especially in the area that you mentioned, which I did not talk about in here. I just said there's that. Now, and blocked lymph flow is definitely part of the problem in that area. So, yeah. Does that answer that, friend who's sent me that? Can you put a Y or a no? Something? Let me know that answered it before I go on to the other parts. You definitely need to take care of yourself. Like, definitely need to rebalance. And if you've got an EBV flare because you just had a baby, that's not something that's fixed in one session. That's not something that's fixed in 1 month either. That's something that consistently, I mean, I've done biomagnetism therapy and 24/7 Rife on myself and my clients that have conditions that EBV is an underlying driver for, and it takes a few months. And that's with oregano oil, like taking oregano oil at the same time and then clearing out the limbs, clearing out the liver and stuff like that. So, okay. I think we got all the people on here that sent me questions. So let me get to the other one. All right. I'm wondering about chronic depression because my nephew has been taking meds for it, but will have mood swings, be absent-minded, forgetful. Wondering if there's anything deeper for links for depression. I know Epstein-Barr is one of the major ones for that. ADHD, OCD, bipolar. Was wondering if there's any underlying causes to it. So there are a lot of deep layers other than just let's just say brain chemicals, which is why they put people on medication for that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't take them, but you should check side effects. First and foremost, anything y'all get put on, check the damn side effects, because while it may help, and I got no problem using that stuff for a short time, but it is not a cure, right? It's not a fix. It's, as long as you're on the medication, might feel good. Eventually you become immune to the medication if you don't address, okay, what's causing it, right? The mainstream tends to treat it as simply a chemical imbalance or genetic disorder, right? But from an energy perspective and from a holistic perspective, we have to look at, is there an overload of infections? Is there trauma imprints? Is there environmental toxins, right? Hey, Turbo, what's up? And are there emotions that just have not been addressed? There's so many things when it comes to like depression, anxiety, ADHD, OCD, even autism, that like we don't holistically address. You gotta address all of it. You can't just, like with kids too, especially the teenagers in this unfortunate era of bullshit. Like, they are playing games all the time. They're under a tremendous amount of stress. Their diet isn't always good. We've got to check diet and lifestyle. We've got to check unresolved, unhealed issues, right? Life's heavy. Oh, it is. I know it is. It really is. We're going to talk about that at the very beginning. You do need to look for EBV. All the other main pathogens that I've listed to you guys that watched my YouTube video about it, the hidden drivers, all of them. And I got to be careful about all of what I list here, but you're always welcome to like look at that list that I dropped on those videos, because they're all there. All of those are things that I would look at. Like trying to make damn sure that I don't, because I'm one away from losing on TikTok. Do you know about heavy metal detox symptoms that mean you should do one? We'll get to that. Let me finish with these, and then we'll talk about that. Brain fog's a big one. If you have unresolved, unaddressed pathogens, if you have parasites, if you have candida, do you guys know how much candida affects the youth? And it's allowed to grow unchecked, and it grows very quickly and stays in the system because of the diet they're on: processed garbage, Cheetos, Oreos, soda pop. Sugar feeds candida. And if we don't address candida in the system, candida, while it's not a primary driver of chronic conditions and all these depressions, it will cause brain fog like you would not believe. And left unchecked, eventually your system can't keep up with everything. So you get yeast overgrowth, right? You get the brain fog. You get the distractedness. It does affect your brain. It does overload the liver. So we have to look at that too. What's in the diet? That's why I said lifestyle. When our system doesn't have these toxins addressed, your body's trying to keep up and it can't. Like, I always look too at the state of the liver. Always. What's the state of the liver? And you can be skinny and still have liver toxin overload, right? For the newbies, what is candida? It's yeast. So we have candida in our guts, right? There's a healthy amount of candida. It's a microbe that's in your gut. The American diet is not healthy, and it's full of processed garbage, things like pasta and chips and bread and all of these things that actually turn to sugar once it hits your gut, and then it feeds the candida. If any of you have ever baked, you know when you make bread, you add yeast. Do you know how to make the yeast help rise that bread even faster? Sugar. Why? Because sugar feeds yeast. Candida is yeast. It's natural yeast that's found in the body, but when it goes into overdrive, now we have issues. And when you have candida, and most people with chronic conditions, autoimmune conditions, I mean, even my dad, I've been working the hell out of him. Yeah, he's 84 years old. I've been working on him with candida because he's like, my gout just keeps happening. I'm like, stop eating sugar. Well, I'm not eating sweets every day. Okay, but you're eating pasta and bread every single day, multiple times a day. You are feeding it. So I cut him off of that just a couple weeks now. We've been through this over and over. And he has a bad sweet tooth. But the gout stuff has really gotten to him. The fact that the healthcare prices have gone up, he's worried now. He's like, I got to get healthy. Okay, then listen up. No more of the garbage. No more. So he has absolutely cut back on, I mean, almost to nothing. But he had some pasta yesterday, and he had a piece of bread this morning. And I'm like, okay, stop making that a habit. Like, you keep excusing it. You want me to help you. He's on oregano oil, and I'm working on him on my Rife 24/7. And he's feeling it. He goes, why does my urine stink? Because something's dying off. So that's how we know things are working too. And I'm running him remote. Like, I don't have him connected to my Rife machine. I have a remote. I have his nails in my Rife machine. And he asked me tonight, he said, why does it smell? It smells bad. It smells foul. That means stuff's coming out. He's been on the oregano oil now for a couple of weeks, and he's been going through the Rife for that long as well. And the biggest part of his problem so far that I've been addressing has been candida overgrowth and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Next, we're going to go after the underlying stuff with his heart. And I'm trying to back him off of some of his medications because there's no need for it. It's like doubled up, and there's lots of side effects. So those are things that I actually would be looking at. Doug Kaufman, Know the Cause is all about candida education. He's in Texas, I think. I've heard his name. Someone's mentioned it. So yeah. I mean, there's tons of information out there. You just have to know where to look and do your research. Like, y'all, go research what conditions are caused by Epstein-Barr. That's the number one. Like 95% of the population has Epstein-Barr. A lot of people have it dormant, but then gets reactivated when you get strep, when you get the flu, if you had the vid. And then it turns into chronic problems because if your immune system is not strong enough, it doesn't have what it needs to battle that stuff. Then you add candida and you add parasites all unaddressed, your system's toxic. And then if we've got a sluggish liver and our lymphs are not draining properly, and with the American diet, most of us have some sluggishness to our liver, unless you're detoxing constantly. And a lot of us have never addressed candida. And this is not to shame anyone. I'm trying to educate y'all so that you can do some research and go figure out your stuff. If you want help with it, you're welcome to just go to my website. I've written blogs on all this stuff if you want to go deeper. But when it comes to those issues like ADHD and some of this stuff, and I'm going to say this, ADHD, autism, and ADD, some of that stuff has happened because, and not all autism, like there's environmental toxins that drive some of that stuff. But I think some of it with the neurodivergence has to do with new energies coming into this planet to not do the same shit. ADHD, ADD, and autistic people have amazing pattern recognition. They have amazing ability to pick up the BS, and they do not work, think, and act like everybody else. But since the 90s, the medical institutions have wanted to medicate it, fix it so that the kids could sit still in school, never once addressing the fact that kids are bored. You're not holding their attention because look, ADD and ADHD and even autistic people are they will hyper focus if it's something they're interested in. So we have to look away from what's normal and start to address the individual as well. But with depression and anxiety, sometimes that too is about trying to squish someone into a box. But if you want to look at ways to help, you can do because the person that sent me this is also a biomagnetism practitioner, do a TBI protocol, look and see if there's any imbalances in the brain in different parts of the body. There's like maybe a disconnect, and then address any underlying pathogens. And then whatever you have left is the person. And then it's a matter of deal with any kind of unaddressed emotional, mental stuff, the environment, the lifestyle. It's all those things. Does that answer that? Can you put it in the chat if that's a yes? Hopefully that helps. You can check on those main ones like CMV, cryptococcus, strep, staph, EBV, mycoplasmas. Like look at all those things for contributing factors and candida, but you've got to look at the whole picture: mental, emotional, and physical, not just one. Because a lot of this stuff, especially with depression, a lot of times it's linked to repressed grief, guilt, feeling disconnected, and it's just the environment that we live in. It's the environment that we live in. So, all right. And the other thing I'll say is this: because the person is a biomagnetism therapist, frontal lobe and amygdala, that is where obsessive thoughts and thought loops come in. That's also the part of the brain where we have like emotional reactivity. That's where we get triggered. Your pineal and your hypothalamus, that's hormonal imbalances, sleep disturbances, right? And then as far as like memory issues and kind of being disconnected, that's frontal lobe, hippocampus. So you can scan for those disconnects to see, and then check the liver for unresolved anger and grief. And definitely the one thing that most people don't ever talk about is like parasites that actually affect mental functioning, like Toxoplasma gondii, and even roundworms can actually affect the brain. So I would be looking at parasite stuff too from a physical standpoint, but you got to address the lifestyle and the mental emotional stuff as well, like all that stuff. All right, let's see. All right, so and I'm not like an expert in fasting, but again, I do know about health. How does biomagnetism work? What issues can it address? So biomagnetism therapy, and I'll show you. These are biomagnetism magnets. We use positive and negative, and we place them in different areas of the body. So like, and I was talking about the inner ear stuff, we would place it like this over the ear. We would go positive to negative. I think I have it. No, I have it. Do I have it wrong or right? I can't tell because the camera's backwards. In any case, we use the magnets to create pH balance and flow back in the body where things get dysregulated. It can address a lot of conditions. Like I'd be here all day if I told you all of what it can address. Like we can help with traumatic brain injury. I've helped people with lupus, with MS, with arthritis, with pain, with injuries, ear infections, the flu, like all kinds of things. I don't rely solely on biomagnetism therapy. Like I said, I use Rife as well, because with more chronic versus acute, like magnets work amazing for acute stuff. And sometimes it will nail the chronic stuff. And it sets the body's terrain up just enough that your own immune system can actually kick in and start to tackle things. The way that me and the people that I know work with biomagnetism, we also address toxic environment. What supplements does your body need? Like, as a health coach, when someone comes to me for health issues, we're addressing all of it. Like, I literally monitor everything that my clients are going through on a daily basis when I work with someone for a prolonged period of time to get their issues under control. Rife is great because it's energetic frequencies that match whatever pathogens are in your body, and then disables those pathogens, and then we start to get your body moving. So, yeah. Rife, the same as EES. It is not. No. So the EES system is like a room full of scalar energy. I do have portable scalar boxes, but that's in person. And EES is different. It's still working on like on an energetic level, absolutely. But Rife is different. Rife, literally if you look up Royal Raymond Rife, every single thing, any kind of organism has a frequency. They measure the frequencies, but if you give a counter frequency, which all have been measured for years and years since the 40s, you will disable that pathogen, right? It's kind of like the frequencies it takes to break a wine glass. Same thing. Healthy organs have a frequency. Unhealthy pathogens have a frequency, and they've all been mapped out. So we send those frequencies to the body, and it goes on a scale. Like, it's not just one frequency. Like, when I'm working on someone with candida, we're dealing with like 20 different frequencies. There's a spread of frequencies that we have to go through. And each pathogen has its own set of frequencies. So, yeah. Does that explain it? Like, my brain can process it really easily, really well. I'm trying to make it make sense for y'all. So tell me if you have any questions. Biomagnetism is cool because our bodies are electric. Like, we have our own electromagnetic field. And when that field is out of whack, things don't function. Your blood doesn't flow right. Your organs don't process stuff right. Right. That's why we can get rid of things. Magnets have been used even in clearing emotions. If you've ever read, what's his name's book, Bradley, is that his name? Bradley Nelson, Dr. Bradley Nelson, I think, wrote that book, The Body Keeps the Score. I think it was him. And he uses a process to clear emotions using magnets, because energy gets stuck in tissues and cells and in muscles and even in organs when we have traumas. So we can clear those as well using magnets. And we've been using magnets, like when I rode horses back in the 80s and 90s, showing horses and racehorses. We use magnets to help heal the horses from their injuries, to speed up healing. So it's not surprising that years later, they began to, especially because biomagnetism came out of South America originally, that they tracked ways to use the magnets to create coherence. It's very in depth and very amazing how much it can handle. So hopefully that answers that. All right. So the fasting question. And like I said, I'm not an expert in fasting. I do know the connections of potentially what went wrong. So here's the question that I got. I was planning to do a 32-hour fast, but broke it with oily, creamy food on Saturday night with shrimp Alfredo at the 27-hour mark. Normally, if I do a longer fast, I break it with softer, healthier foods. I think it causes painful bloating, which I've been feeling since Saturday. It's quite uncomfortable. Someone she knows, family member, put magnets on long distance, took activated charcoal. I was doing the parasite cleanse. You said dewormer. I'm assuming you mean parasite stuff. Stopped Sunday because of it. My digestion felt it was moving last night more because it was making noises. Any thoughts, suggestions? All right. So anytime you do any kind of fast, whether it's for weight loss or you're rebooting your system or you've got a procedure, when you come off of that fast, you have to ease your digestion back in because your digestive enzymes have been down regulated. Bile flow is slower and your gut lining is going to be way more sensitive. So if you immediately introduce oily foods, heavy foods, fats, right? Um, Shellfish, any kind of dairy, you overwhelm your liver and your small intestines. And that will cause the bloating and then what feels like stagnation in your digestion. When you haven't eaten for a couple of days, right, for that long, you have to understand how long it takes for your food to work through. Some people digest and they'll process through and have a bowel movement in 12 hours from whatever they ate the day before. Some people it's 24. How do I know this? And here's how you can check it. Take some activated charcoal. Take 2 tabs of activated charcoal. And then watch what comes out. If it takes 24 hours for you to get darker stool, you know that that's the activated charcoal now, whatever it pulled out, coming out. How many hours was it from the time you took it to the time that color came out dark, like black? That's how you know the speed at which you're digesting. So understand that if you put all that heavy stuff in when you've just given your system a break and you didn't ease it in to get the digestive enzymes building again, to get the fire going in your liver again, you just overwhelmed it. And that's why your stomach hurt and you felt like crap. That's why you felt like things were kind of blocked up. But if your stomach's been empty for 27 hours, it's going to take you at least 12 hours to get that stuff out and to get your digestion moving again. So if you do a fast, light stuff, you introduce light stuff. Like the first thing I would do to break a fast that long would be something like bone broth, right? Something liquidy, get my digestive going, something soft. You could do applesauce, cottage cheese yogurt, something like that, something soft, not heavy. The fats, to overwhelm your system with that much fat, especially like shellfish, it's too much. Like it's just too much. Your body will rebound. Taking the, that's what you figured. You usually do green juices. Yeah, you got to ease back in. Taking the charcoal was a good move because that helps to bind stuff up, but then you have to double up. If any of you guys take activated charcoal, know that you have to double up on your water. And keep your electrolytes in check, right? Stay hydrated because that stuff, it does tend to dehydrate you. So I usually will do lemon in my water because that gives you the natural minerals as well. So it's just gonna help you as you come back through and get your digestion moving again. Thanks for the follow. All right. Teas, you can do like fennel tea, dandelion tea for anyone that's trying to support your liver and detox. Or if you have stuff like ginger is the first, that's always the first through. Stopping in to show support. I appreciate it. Ginger, like grind some ginger up in like a cup of hot water to calm things down. But dandelion tea is really good to help support your liver, especially if you offended it, which it sounds like you did. Coming off that fast. Good job on that long of a fast, though. Like, seriously, good job. The one thing I will say is this, because someone asked me a question the other day, and I have to make sure that I get it right with the way that the question was formed. And it was about um, detoxing. My brain is just like stalling right now. Just had it. We were talking about what to do to support the liver, to support detoxing. And like I told you guys earlier, I take that youthful legs for lymphatic and liver support. Milk thistle's a good one, but we don't have it in tea form. Like, you have to take it in a supplement. And I'm more supplement light than I am supplement heavy. I say take supplements when it's needed and don't stay on them, because they can actually put a load on your liver. I'm not someone that does a ton of supplements. Take them for when you need them and then cycle off. There are some things that we just don't have in our food. Like, I take that Secret Elements sea moss with ginger and ashwagandha and 92 minerals and all of that. That's my foundational stuff. And like, dude, I don't get paid by these people. I'm telling you guys, these are the things that throughout the years I've come to know work. You can do dandelion tea. You can do like licorice root. That's another one that's really good if you have digestive issues, if your stomach is upset. Ginger candies, you know those ginger candies people suck on? That is not going to help your stomach. I know they taste good, but understand they're candy. They're not therapeutic. They're not going to help like your gut and stuff like that. But ginger itself, like, just shred it into a hot cup of tea and then sip on that. So this is something that I was talking to someone the other day about, because we were talking about diet, and she has MS, and we were going over her diet because her stomach's been bothering her, and I've been working with her. Do you guys understand what the difference is between like the Asian diet and the American diet? And with traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, what they say you should be eating first thing in the day, the morning, versus what we actually eat? Because the American way of breakfast is probably the worst in the entire world. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. Indians, Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, most of the Asian countries, and even some of the South American countries, they eat porridge for breakfast. They eat hot food for breakfast. For those of you that eat salads and you're like, I still have major inflammation even though I'm eating salads all the time, there's a reason for that. In TCM, they talk about it like those are cooling foods. And if it's cool and raw like that, your body can't always easily digest it. So then it inflames. And if you already have inflammation, you're just doubling up on your inflammation. We eat things like yogurt, something cold for breakfast. We eat all these carbohydrates that have no nutrition in them. We feed our kids cereal with milk. No nutrition plus dairy, and it's cold. You actually need heat, warm liquid to get your digestion fired up in the morning. Should be eating warm food all the time or just the morning. So if you're going to eat salads, like, this is what I told her, and this is what we do. If you eat raw salads, and I love a good salad, I don't eat it without drinking warm water or soup with it. So I'll have a bite of salad followed up with a spoonful of soup. Remember how we used to go to restaurants and it was soup and salad? There might have been a reason for it. The government's food group pyramid that was funded by the food industry giants. Yeah, that's where that pyramid came from. Even if it's warm out, doesn't matter. I'm telling you, like, when I was in India having my neck surgery, what did they give me? Porridge every day for breakfast. Always had warm tea. Always, with every meal, they served it with warm tea. even if it's warm out. And I mean, in India, it's hot there. The way that they keep their bodies cool is curcumin and turmeric. That's what they take to cool their bodies off. And you can smell it in their sweat. All about the almighty daughter. Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. So, I mean, y'all think about that. Like, Asians typically are eating the same thing at breakfast as they do lunch and dinner. And your heavy meal, you shouldn't be eating anything heavy past 3-4 o'clock at all, unless you don't go to bed until 12-1 o'clock in the morning. And then you can eat the proteins and the heavier stuff up until maybe 6 o'clock. But you should, like my colonics, the lady that I used to share an office with in Durango, she had a colonics practice. She's like, don't ever eat protein after 3 o'clock. Your body can't digest it. And that's based on the body clock, the Oriental body clock. Yeah, eat or drink something warm with the salad. It helps with the digestion, and it doesn't, then your body does not inflame as it's trying to digest the raw foods, the raw colder foods. Yeah. Like, if you look up, like ask Google or whatever, look up what the TCM guidelines are for stuff like that, for how you eat breakfast. Like our diets in America are some of the worst when it comes to what we eat first thing in the morning. And then we add bread to everything. What was I talking about with Candida? We wonder why we have such a problem with Candida. Well, that would be why. Muffins, pancakes, waffles, none of it has any nutritional quality that's feeding your body. Like, our bodies, even though we're feeding it lots of garbage, we hold on to fat, but we're actually not. We're malnourished from the standpoint of what the body needs to function properly. Remember the soups and salad days at the restaurants? Yeah. And that was back before the salads all had a bunch of garbage, fertilizers, and all the other shit that we now have to worry about. Like, for real, you guys, we have to look at the environmental toxins, but things that y'all can do. These are things that y'all can do. And hopefully I answered some questions. If you guys have any other questions about specific stuff, then drop it in the comments, or feel free to join us in Hidden Wisdom, like $10 a week. It's $40 a month. You get all kinds of on-demand classes about your intuition, about really standing in a place of alignment. I do monthly live coaching where you can work, and get your questions answered one-on-one. We do the health classes. All that's on replay. Like, it is thousands and thousands of dollars worth of material into that one portal. So y'all are welcome to join it. Just go to my website. Could you walk through a full day of eating this way? It would be useless if I tried, because everybody has different needs, right? Some of you are going to eat meat. Some of you are going to be vegan. Some of you are going to be gluten-free. So, like, there's so many different ways. My suggestion to y'all, do you use AI out of curiosity? Do you use ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or any of the AI programs? Because I'll tell you what information to give it in order for it to help you create a schedule and give you the outcome that you're actually looking for. Because AI is only as good as the information you give it. So here's what you do. You give it your age, your weight. Tell it you want it to operate as a expert health, natural health practitioner and nutritionist. Give it your age, give it your height, give it your weight. Give it any of your chronic issues that you're trying to deal with. If you're trying to lose weight, tell it how busy you are, what kind of foods you've been eating, and whatever foods you're willing to eliminate, and then what conditions you're wanting to clear. Put that in. Okay? And tell it your goal. and ask it to create an eating schedule with a menu that works with your lifestyle and your schedule to get on track. And it will give you some sort of a plan. You're going to have to tweak it because AI is AI. It may shoot some stuff out and you're like, no, hell, I can't do that. That's too much work. The thing about eating healthy really has to do with prep. Even for like Asian broth stuff, I will cut up Napa cabbage. I will put some thinly sliced beef in there, and I'll chop my carrots and my onions. I use daikon too. Usually that's a side dish. Daikon and kimchi daily for me and my dad because those are natural probiotics, right? Some people don't like kimchi. I grew up eating it, so it's not a big deal. We don't eat rice on a daily basis, but we do allow ourselves a little bit of rice, and we eat the rice while we're eating any kind of broth-based stuff. But I will cut all that stuff up and put them in Ziplocs. So that all we got to do is open the Ziploc, drop it in the broth of boiling liquid, right? And I'll add miso paste usually because I like miso. And most of my dishes are fairly bland. But I'll put bok choy in it, the cabbage, carrots, mushrooms. I always get shiitake mushrooms. Once in a while, they're expensive, but once in a while, I will put in lion's mane. And you can get those small, I can't remember what they're called. You can get them at the Asian store, the small little cute mushrooms. I'll put all of that in, but I pre-make like what's going to go in, and I chop that early in the day or early in the week. So it's ready to go. Or I'll make a big pot and then just eat it for a couple of days. So super easy. It's not hard. And you guys, I'm telling you, like even my dad with Mr. Sweet Tooth loves his carbs and all the garbage that is, but he was having bad gout, like bad. He's like, my gout is out of control. I'm like, Dad, stop with the sugar. And then I started working with him and working on him. And I printed out a 2-week menu for he and I. I went to the Asian store. I went all the way to Austin to H Mart, which is an over hour and a half away, to go shop to get the stuff that we needed. Like I will put like octopus in some of our broths because I like octopus. I will put like sushi style tuna, ahi, in our broths, different things. And if you have a good Asian store near you, like an H Mart, like we've got, they have all kinds of stuff and they've got the side dishes. But my dad got used to it and he was like, I actually don't feel bad. I'm starting to feel good. Like, you think? So it's not as hard as it sounds. It really isn't. And there's a bunch of people on TikTok and on YouTube that do cooking shows, and they've got a ton of like recipes and stuff like that you can follow. So it's just, you've got to think about food as nutrition and energy, not just pleasure. Like we've used food for comfort a lot here in America, and our health is what we pay for that comfort. And to me, I don't think it's worth it, but we do have to be aware of what's the environmental toxins and what else is going on. And do I have unaddressed pathogens? And if y'all want help with chronic issues and stuff like that, go to my website. And if you click on the health page, there's ways that it explains like how I work, the modalities I use, and the results that I get. And then I have a free consult on there too, if you want to talk. And I won't take on a new client until we've talked. Like I got to know what I'm dealing with. And I will always, like, if someone's on a bunch of prescriptions, that's one of the requirements in the intake. Like, send me your prescription list because I'm going to go through every single side effect. And I'm going to shoot it back to you and tell you what to be looking for. Because if I'm adding supplements too, I have to know if anything is contraindicated. Can't just put you on stuff. And then what time can you take it? Because what time do you take your other meds? Like with my dad, it took me an entire day to go through his med routine, his prescription routine, his eating routine, to be able to add in 3 supplements, 1 to help with the pathogen kill, and then 2 to help with the detoxing and the lymphatic support. So like I had to break it down. And one of his, I think he was taking his thyroid med at midnight. I'm like, why are you taking your why are you waking up at midnight to take, hey, Megs, to take your thyroid meds? He's like, because it has to be away from everything else. I'm like, yeah, but you could take it at 9:00 at night before you go to bed. You don't eat past 5:00, 6:00. You can take it at 9:00, plenty enough time away. And he was like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, have you seriously been waking up at midnight? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, Dad, no. It's so funny. So we got him on a better schedule now, but he is getting better at 84 years old. He's feeling better. His ankle, he's had a chronically swollen ankle. He's been to multiple doctors, multiple specialists. We don't know. Funny. It's starting to heal. The swelling has come down. He can walk better. Go figure. So yeah, but the doctors also told him a few years ago that his stage 3 renal failure could not be stopped, nor could it be reversed. And we've done just that. We've stopped it and we've reversed the numbers a little bit. Now that I got his cooperation on his diet, we'll be able to reverse more. My hope is to get him off of the heart stuff too, but we got to get him to lose some more weight. And the weight was coming on because of the stuff he was eating. And he is now seeing that, because just a couple of weeks of eating Asian broths and stuff like that and not being so heavy on the other stuff, he already lost 5 pounds. So yeah. And his blood pressure is coming down. So he's off of one of his medications. He had 2. And when you're on that many heart and blood pressure medication, it does tend to affect your kidneys, which pisses me off. So if you stop the are you talking about you say dewormer? I don't know what kind you're taking. If you stop it for 2 days, you can pick it up again, continue. You have to restart. So you do have to restart. If you don't finish the cycle, and the thing with parasite, if you're taking parasite and anti-parasite pills, 14 days, and then you give it a rest for 2 weeks, and then back on for 14 days. Because the first layer, you're killing the adult parasites, and then you're killing their eggs in 2 weeks. So yeah, you have to start over, unfortunately. It's just the way it goes. You can't come off of that stuff. So sorry. And it depends on what you're taking, Brenda. Like, I don't know what kind you're taking. So you're calling it dewormer. I don't know what kind you're taking. But I'm just saying typically, if it's a 14-day run, which usually it is, if you really want to go after parasites, the one I suggested long ago, okay. Yeah, so 14 days, you got to start over. Late to the live. We were talking about health stuff. No, it's not ivermectin, Roberto. That's not. It was an actual parasite cleanse. We're talking about health stuff from a natural, holistic standpoint. I was just answering questions that were coming in, and then any other questions because I had a few people ask me some questions. I usually do the health stuff on a much deeper level when I'm in my hidden wisdom group, but we didn't have enough questions come in this week to do the full class. So I was like, I'll just go live and do it on live. And so here I am, because I know a lot of people have questions about stuff like this. Watermelon. You're doing a watermelon cleanse. So the parasite thing that she's talking about, it was probably one I had given a recommendation to long time ago. There's a few different ones. There's not right now, because of accessibility and cost, I don't know, like Fenven and ivermectin are fine, but you've got to get the actual pill form. Like I have fenbenzanol and ivermectin pill form for humans, not for dogs, not for horses, for humans, that I bought from a pharmacy in India. So if that's something you guys like, I can put you in touch with the pharmacy guy I work with in India. But the problem is now the tariffs and all the bullshit that is going on. I bought all my stuff before that, and my stuff doesn't expire until 2027. If you know someone in Mexico, you can get stuff from Mexico. Some of the tinctures do actually work. I can't remember the girl that was like all viral on TikTok with the parasite cleanse that she made. It was expensive though. Like it was not cheap, and it took like 8 weeks to get to me. But like some people just use like black walnut and stuff like that. If you really want to get a complete, you've got to go for more than just those tinctures. Unfortunately, some of the formulations that I used to recommend are not as strong as they were, say, 10 years ago. So, but yeah, I use right now currently fenbenzanol and ivermectin, and that's a cycle on, cycle off, right? Like 3 days fenben, 3 days ivermectin. Part of the reason for me doing it that way is because I did have lymphoma. And what most people don't understand about lymphoma, that Japan and the Asian countries actually have discovered Epstein-Barr is one of the drivers to lymphoma. So, yeah. So anyways, go do your research, peeps. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. Just go to my website. I hope that answered everyone's questions. Did that help, Brenda, and the rest of you that sent in your questions? If you guys are in Hidden Wisdom and you want me to cover stuff, just send me an email. We don't have any health classes scheduled for the next couple of weeks, but if we get enough people's questions, then I'll do it in Hidden Wisdom where we can go deeper. So far, none of the issues you guys have brought to me over the last week have been to the point where I actually have to do it on Zoom because of community policy stuff on here. When we get those kinds of issues, like when we're talking conditions like MS and stuff like that, some of the heavier duty autoimmune disorders like Lyme, Morgellons, that kind of stuff, then yes, we'd have to do it in Hidden Wisdom on a Zoom because I'm not restricted to what I can say, right? I don't have to be super, super careful. Thank you, Pat, for the fairy wings. So yeah, anywho, my schedule is open for those of you who've been had a couple of people message me and say, are you still doing 1 hour sessions like coaching and intuitive coaching sessions? Yes, I am. Like, go to my website. I just redid a bunch of the information on my website to make it clearer and hopefully make it easier for y'all to navigate. But yes, and I have openings for ongoing spiritual counseling sessions because I don't like I have like I only take on a certain amount of private clients for that on an ongoing basis, but I have 2 openings right now. So if you're looking to get beyond your traumas and stuff like that, go look me up. Most of my clients have come out of therapy. Some been in therapy for over a decade, didn't get anywhere, got real far in a year with me, literally. And there's testimonials on my website too. So y'all just go check it out. And then if any of you guys have things you want me to address in content, just message me, please. Like, I've been staying off social media for not making a ton of content. Today I did, but like I haven't been making a ton of content because like all of you, it's been super overwhelming to my nervous system. On top of I've been busy. And there's a part of me that's like, man, there's so much noise. Do you guys feel that? Like there's so much bullshit noise out there, and repeated crap that just puts you over the edge, makes you feel it is overwhelming. Absolutely. So I'm like, I don't want to add to that. And if I'm feeling it and combating it, and it's irritating my system when I usually can hold it pretty high, that's not the time for me to be on video because my energy does tend to project. I don't want to add to it. So, the other part of it is just the flipping algorithm has been kind of wonky and pretty vanilla, if you know what I'm saying. Some of the people that I follow have disappeared, and I am being very cautious. Otherwise, you know, my account could go away, and I don't want that. So I'm keeping up with the community guidelines. Certainly not getting the views that I normally get. If you guys make content, you know what I'm talking about. Our views are way, way down. I think that things will improve. I heard that there was that Rokana, was it Rokana or Ed Markey? One of them was putting something on the books to pass something to extend the deadline for the TikTok sale yet again. They still haven't sent all the way through the committee for the bill that reversed the ban of TikTok to begin with. That bill still sitting parked in one of the committees in the Senate. It would be nice if they would just do that. Because at this point, your whole point that it's not secure yet, the White House has an account on here, and a bunch of the senators and Congress people have accounts on here. That whole thing of like it's not secure, it's a security, that doesn't even float. Sorry, it doesn't. So there's that too. Yeah. Anywho, all right. I'm going to end my stream over on, because I'm talking about TikTok, over on YouTube and Facebook and on here. I need to get some rest. It is hump day. We made it through half the week. God help us. Let's get through the rest. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to each other. I know things are tight and a little irritating right now, but hang tight. We're gonna we're gonna make it through this stuff. I promise. I promise. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night. Thank you. Oh, my Google is locked. Why? Why? Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to end my stream and we got issues. It says it's still playing my entire network. And what is happening? Oh, Microsoft close. If you guys